What up, everybody? It's your man Danelle, aka Small Guy Promotions, aka the Omaha Fatty, coming with another podcast episode of What's Up Omaha. Thank you guys so much for joining me once again for another episode on the podcast. It's been a wonderful journey thus far, and we're just gonna keep it moving, keep it going. Man, there's so many episodes of the podcast out there. I don't count the ones where it's just me by myself just talking like I am here today, because it's more like a journal or a diary. Hindsight, maybe I should have started counting all these as well, but not including these when it's just me, myself, and I have 97 different episodes of the What's Up Omaha podcast that has a guest that joins. So, man, there's plenty of podcast episodes out there. If you guys enjoy what you're hearing on the podcast, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really wanted to say really quick, shout out to my boy James Zook, who sent me a text and thanked me for one of the episodes that I did some months back, and it was about jaded self-image, because the whole summary of the podcast was self-image gets talked about a lot when you're referring to young ladies and women, but not necessarily as much when it comes to us fellas. And sometimes growing up, us fellas may have some kind of confidence issues or, some negative self-body image, or just whatever it is, man. And I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot. So he had actually listened to that podcast and he could relate to it, man. So he sent me a text and thanked me, and we talked for a little bit back and forth through text message. And I was like, man, there's so many different levels to the podcast. One is just a diary for myself. Another is to help people in the area, shed a light on things that they're doing, following their dreams or whatever. That's why we have small business owners or, community organization leaders, just artists, whoever is out there doing great things, positive things. And then, of course, you want it to be relatable. So for James to send me a text and say, that resonated with him, he was able to connect with it on some level. And it was really cool, man. Like, I feel like I'm doing something right. So again, shout out to James, man. And also shout out to Andrew over there at Golden Dragon. I went and picked up some food the other day, and after class on Friday night, and Andrew was like, yo, man, I catch every episode. And he was like, I'm a fan. I listen at like 1:00 in the morning when I need a break from studying or whatever he's doing. And I'm like, dude, like, thank you. So to anyone listening to the audio side or watching on YouTube, I want to get that out of the way and just say thank you. I appreciate you guys. I know I say it, and I just want you guys to know and understand that I do appreciate everyone who takes time out of their day to listen to even just one episode. Time is a high commodity, and for someone to give me some of their time, it's big. I appreciate it so much, and I know that the podcast doesn't grow without you guys listening and tuning in. So thank you guys all so much. And speaking of that, please make sure to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. You can hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever a new podcast comes out. I do post some other stuff on YouTube as well from time to time. So it's not just all the What's Up Omaha podcast. But then if you're listening on the audio side, wherever you're listening to podcasts, subscribe if you can. The What's Up Omaha podcast is out there on all the platforms, man. So it's like iHeartRadio, Spotify, what is it? Radio Public, Castbox, Podbean, all those places. The podcast is on Google, Apple. It's out there. So thank you guys. Please subscribe. Now let's really get into it. Let's get into it. So one of the things I was griping about a little bit this week was getting the notification from our mortgage company that the escrow, well, and in anticipation of the escrow increasing this coming year, they have raised our escrow payment $150 a month. And this is after we paid a lump sum last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. I think it was last year, but I could be wrong. The time just flies by, but it was like $1,200 or $1,400 that we had to pay. We could have spread it out over the year, or do the lump sum option. So we were just like, let's just do the lump sum option and get it over with. Like, let's just rip the band-aid off. Well, on this notification that we got last month, it didn't give us an option for that. And regardless, just like $150, it's $153 and some change, I think. $153 extra a month just for insurance because of home values going up. Like, how else can the small guy, small guy promotions, how else can the small guys out there get hammered by, whether it's the local government, federal government, insurance, just there's so many things working against people right now. All the inflation talk that we're having, all the issues getting product. Last year people were going crazy, stocking up on hand sanitizer and toilet paper. All these restaurants and small businesses are closing because of cost of everything. Places that have been open 10, 15, 20 years are closing down because they can't navigate through these crazy times that we're living in. And I'm just thinking, man, like, what else could go against people? Like, it's not just me on this escrow thing. Assessors are going around and giving new figures. I posted it on Facebook on my personal page, and people were commenting like, man, yeah, my payment went up $200 a month, or just whatever. And it's like, man, you work hard, like, so it's like it's all a scheme. You work so hard because you're always told that the dream is to own a house and whatnot and blah 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 blah. And you go and you work hard, you save up, you put a down payment on a home. Like, I don't know how it is for other people, but for us, we saved up for like 5 years to have a good down payment. We put the down payment on, and at the time, we've been in this house for 3 years. At the time, it was just when the housing market started to go up and be kind of crazy. So we got in at a pretty good time. We love our house, love our neighborhood. But initially, when we moved in, after we found out what the taxes were, we were like, man, like, that's crazy. So we were living in South Omaha, and we were paying, like $1,600-$1,800 a year for taxes. Then to move to Papillion, and granted, our home was smaller before. We like doubled the size of our house, over double size. It was 1,080 square feet at the old house, and I think it's 2,500 here. But it was crazy. It was like $5,000 for insurance, or for taxes. Sorry. And I'm thinking, man, do we really want to live out here, man? $5,000 a year, like, and you don't get nothing for that money that you're paying for taxes, man. Like, they just take it. Like, I mean, I say that, but whatever they're doing in the city, you don't directly see it a lot of times, is what I mean. But it was crazy to us too, because like in Omaha, where we were at, the trash was included in that. Like, we didn't have to pay a separate company, or go out and find a company to take our trash. That's one thing that we have to pay for separately here too. So it's like, hold up, I'm paying all this in tax, but I'm not even getting my trash taken, like, included in that. And then now it just keeps going up. It keeps going up. So now I'm thinking, with this increase, we might be close to $7,000 a year for taxes. And it's just annoying, man, because and I said this on the thread of the post, like, you just feel like you're getting robbed. Like, you don't have a choice, you don't have a say. If you don't pay your taxes, they try to take your home. So, like, what do you do? But what I'm saying is there's so many things working, like, adversely against people right now. I mean, if you're going out and shopping for groceries, you're spending more money than you used to. Gas, the gas that it takes for transportation companies to ship. And this is nothing new. This is all in the news. I'm sure, you've seen stuff about this. There's no way that you have been going through life and not knowing that gas is costing more, which gas isn't crazy right now to where we've seen in the past, uh, like in years. I can remember, you know, 2005, 2006, gas going up to, I think it almost went up to like $4 a gallon or something like that at one point. So it's nothing new, ups and downs, ups and downs. But there's just a combination of everything. There's COVID, there's the shipping crisis, and there's the, not being able to find drivers. And then California has their own laws and rules on whatever. And from what I've been seeing, it's something about um, truck owners are going to need to have newer vehicles uh, based on some date. I feel like it's 2011. I might be wrong. So don't quote me on that. But there's just so many different things, and the costs are just going up and going up. This restaurants, supplies, everything that they need, the cost is going up. As a small business, a lot of people don't want to raise their prices. I think in some situations is because they think that people don't want to pay more, or they just, they didn't want to charge that much for their product. um, and it's just getting tough right now. But you know I will much rather pay a local small business than a big corporation. Yeah, so when we're talking about local restaurants, we're going to still do what we can do to support those guys. And they're not the only ones struggling. There's other businesses too. But I'm Omaha Fatty, small guy promotion. So Omaha Fatty is focused on food. But I just wanted to talk about all the different things that are going on right now that are working against people. And it's just crazy because we are okay, like, financially. We still have the ability to pay this. And I mean, we're going to have to shift some things around a little bit, and probably watch what we're spending a little more. But my heart is with the people who maybe were already struggling, and now they're faced with having more taxes every year and not being able to pay. Especially, there was someone who commented and said that their parents or somebody lost their house, their home, after 20 something years because they couldn't pay the taxes. How crazy is that? How crazy is that? Again, the dream that we're always sold is to own a home, white picket fence, blah 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 blah. And you do the things that you think are right to get you to that position where you're able to buy a home, and then these taxes go up, where like your income goes down because maybe you lost a job during COVID, or maybe you're just older and you don't work and you live off of Social Security, and maybe your retirement savings weren't at a high enough level to uh, you know keep you from going broke from paying these taxes. Some people are having to go back to work because they didn't have enough in savings and just whatever, man. And it's just so crazy to me, man. Like, I don't know, man. I just don't know how else people can get screwed. Like, it's just one thing on top of another. Like, how can we make it more stressful for people? Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I saw one person that I know who said that her home value has doubled because she has an older house, like an old house, but her home value has doubled. And the crazy thing about taxes is it's not like you're not getting anything up front for this. If you're living in your home and you're not selling your home, the fact that the value of your home is going up doesn't really do anything for you aside from raise your taxes. So it's so crazy. Like, you have everything set and then they just come in and say, ah, well, we assessed your property and we believe, and especially for homes like mine, we haven't done any renovations since we've been in this home. It's just crazy because a lot of people are looking for houses right now. And then it's like, man, the only way that I could even benefit from this is to sell my house and then move into an apartment or a townhome or something where I'm just renting, because it doesn't make sense. Yes, we would make however many dollars on the sale of our home, but if you're buying another home, then it doesn't even matter. It doesn't make sense. Or like, I mean, even if you downsize, you're still paying more than you would have 3 years ago, 4 years ago for a home. So that extra money that you got on the sale of your current home is not going as far and is not getting you as much as it would have in the past. And it's just crazy. I don't know, man. It's yeah, I'm so annoyed by that. Like, so annoyed by that. So you think what, $150 a month? What, there's 12 months in a year, so 100 times 12 is 1,200. Half of that is 1,200 is 600, so $1,800 extra a year. $1,800 extra a year on our mortgage. Not to mention all the stuff that has increased for us to run and maintain our home. You know, the regular bills, gas and water and all that stuff seem to be going up. Electricity, and especially we're working from home and being home more, using more electricity, using more gas because keeping it warm during the day when we're not home normally. Um, it's just one hit. The hits just keep on coming, one hit after another. And I don't know, man. I just feel for people. Like, I'm annoyed and upset by it. And, it's just like, man, I dig where we live, but the cost of living, you know, taxes alone is just ridiculous. And you can't help but feel like you're getting the shaft when this happens. Like, on one hand, I get that things have to change, but on another hand, it's like, why is it always a little guy? Why is it always a small guy? Like, I genuinely feel for anyone, and I'm not rich. My wife's not rich. Like, we've struggled, and not struggled, but we've worked two jobs in our lifetimes, as adults trying to take care of our families, uh, just to make income before, in our younger days. And fortunately, we're at a spot where my wife does work two jobs right now, by choice, of course, and it's not really about the money side of things. She does cosmetology and massage therapy as her own business. And then because she's involved in the church, she was volunteering as a catechist for a year or two. I think maybe it was just a year. And then she became the religious education director at the church. So that became a job. So that's the only reason why she's working two jobs. Um, you know, I make a decent salary. It's not great. It's decent though. But again, like I said, we saved up for 5 years before we moved into this home. And the home that we have is a little bigger than I really cared to have. But at the time, it wasn't a lot out there. We spent about 50 grand more than I wanted to spend on a home. Uh, but it was just so tough. We would go and look at a home, and then hours later, my friend and realtor, Steve, would text or call us and say, "Hey, man, somebody's got a bid in on that home already," or it's gone. So, or you have to make a decision within the next hour on if you want to put a bid in on the home that you just saw 30 minutes ago. It's just like, oh God. So, man, it's just crazy, man. It's tough. And, we have savings and whatnot for rainy days should something happen. And we're not struggling now. But with the way things are going, it's not hard to imagine struggling again one day in the future. Unless Omaha Fatty and Small Guy Promotions take off. So yeah, help me take off so I can. Okay, so look, these are the goals, right? So number one, I would like to quit my job. So again, subscribe because I need to get some views on the podcast and on my social media pages so I can continue with Omaha Fatty and Small Guy and not only replace my income, but increase it a little bit for all this stuff that's just increasing. But yeah, like seriously though, I do feel for people who may be in less fortunate situations and that if it was already tough for you before COVID, if it was already tough for you before this most recent increase in your taxes, if it was already tough for you before, the shipping issues became a thing and buying groceries uh, became even more costly. Like I feel for you, man. And I don't know, man. I don't know what we do. I've never been into like politics and all that type of stuff. Like I just want to go through life and live and enjoy it as much as possible. And if you haven't been able to see from the last 4 or 5 years, politics definitely seem to make people a lot more upset. So I don't plan on being into politics and things like that. But man, if something doesn't, something's got to give, right? Like you can't just keep increasing everything on the people and then people be able to live. So I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. I can definitely see why people are having mental stability issues right now because it's stressful for a lot of people, I'm sure. So if you're struggling right now, please just step back and take a breath and try to game plan and see how you can make things work for yourself. Man, I'm yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you do? What do you do? Like you can only control what you can control. And that gets frustrating at times. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But thank you guys. I'm just ended there because that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got, man. Shout out to the Rude Shrimp Company, rocking their gear today, keeping me warm today. Chef TJ. Yeah. And then actually there's a new barbecue place out there where the Root Shrimp Company would host their business and their guests. So if you like barbecue, check that out. We'll try to get out there at some point. There's so many new barbecue places around. There's one right up the street from me, like literally right up the street. Jay's Smokehouse is the name. We'll have to go and check that out at some point. I don't know when, but it smells good. I know that much. But yeah, man, please just take a breath and try to figure out how you can get through it. It sucks when things are outside of your control and they impact you negatively, but you can't do anything about it. Like, what do? You just have to like bite the bullet and take it. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. That's above my pay grade. But I hope that on some level I give you some escapism and help you enjoy life or enjoy a couple moments in time in your day. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. The podcast would be here, but it wouldn't be as I say as big. It's not huge, but it's growing. And for people like James and Andrew who listen to every episode or just reach out to me to tell me that it made a difference with them or they enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you. So yeah, shout out to Hans, Golden Dragon in Bellevue. Again, serving up some food while my home Golden Bowl is closed. But yeah, man, you guys have a wonderful day, a most wonderful day. Smile, help someone else smile, laugh and help someone else laugh all day, every day. That's what it is. Please be sure to smile because a lot of people need to smile right now. That's what it is, man. Thank y'all for tuning in again. Yeah. Have a good day.